morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. This is Grayson Nierenberg, who's been playing. And we have some live music today, and he's playing some of his own creations. So you'll get to hear a little bit more from Grayson in a moment. So today we celebrate our theme for the year, which is still our inner life, and we're creating this little graph, in case you don't know about it yet, it's over there, to kind of track the topics for the year, which are going to be really broad, because this month it is, the whole year it's living everyday wonder. The month is your inner life. So February is your inner life. So the topic today is to forgive. We're going to explore this idea of forgiveness. I don't believe in forgiveness. Just kidding. But I will explain what I mean by that. It's just my take. It's really that when we rise to the level of the purity of our teaching and our spiritual nature, we learn that there's nothing to forgive. That's a high calling, right? And then we realize that our inner work is really our contribution to healing hate in the world. I am so blessed to have with me today to assist our beloved Reverend Janice Billera, who is a licensed practitioner here, and she's the staff minister. She's our finance manager. She has a great prosperity consciousness, which is awesome. And so she will share a wonderful deepening practice for us so that we can walk out of here with a different sense or interpretation of what forgiveness is all about. We welcome all of you here in this still new space. I think after we've been in our old space for 60-some years, we can call this new for a while, right? And welcome to all of you who are joining us online today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now. We love having everybody present in every which way that's available to us, and how blessed really COVID created that, how COVID created that blessing so that we really are visible all over the world. And so if you want to know more about us, look online. There's lots of information. Grab some flyers. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Meetup, YouTube. What else is there? Just check them all out. Instagram, we're all over the place. We're just virtual sluts. That's what So say hello if you're online and ask us any questions. If you're in need of support, let us know that. And I want you to really pay attention to some of our stuff online, because Reverend Janice is going to create a new program, start a new program, which she'll talk about when she shares. And our dear Michael is doing a workshop. There's a flyer over there as well, and we'll be posting it on March 20th, which happens to be the day we celebrate our grand opening. And because we only have about 40 seats, we're going to do it twice, at 9:30 and at 11. You can only come to one. And so that's going to happen very soon with a flyer as well. Give the information. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that Science of Mind magazine finally came in. We had a little bit of a challenge with the Postal Service, and they are on sale in the back. I'm still working on February. I had some catching up to do. So let's do a Namaste practice. Namaste is a Sanskrit word for the divinity in me blesses the divinity in you. So it's really looking beyond the physical form and seeing something higher and acknowledging that, but also have that be acknowledged. So just put your hands in front of your heart and just bow to somebody and say Namaste. All right. And let's do an opening treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable. And just know with me that we live in a spiritual universe, and that this human experience is like a grain of sand in a desert. Yet It contains the same essence, the same quality, the same life, the same light, the same love. And we are ever opening in this experience, each of us in our own unique way. For there are no two alike. There are no two grains of sand alike. And so we listen to that richness, that is that divine spark within us, to experience guidance in life, guidance in our growth, our evolution, our awakening, and growth in being a beneficial presence in the world, whether it's the teeny tiny world around us or the greater world outside of our personal lives and our homes. And so we allow the blessings that life beholds become more available to us. We allow them to take a deeper root into our consciousness so that we may feel a sense of peace, a sense of harmony, and a greater sense of freedom. So for that, and so much more, for that and this spiritual community, for that and this beautiful teaching, we are grateful. And so it is. Yes. Grayson Nierenberg with an original.
So Dr. Frankie told me we'd be talking about forgiveness this week, so I came up with a quick little chorus in my head and wanted to call this song Don't Forget to Love, because that's what I sing in the chorus. I sing forgive, let live, and don't forget to love, so feel free to sing along to that. Are you upset? Did someone bring you down? Don't look so sad, can't stand seeing you frown. Why don't you join me? Let's all gather round. Just take a moment and listen to this sound. Forgive, forgive. Forgive, 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 let live, and don't forget to love. Forgive, let live, and don't forget to love. Forgive, let live, and don't forget to love. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Forgive yourself, know that we are one. Can't say mad, 'cause anger weighs a ton. Giving is receiving, and forgiveness is a gift. Let us rejoice, we all could use a lift. Forgive, forgive. Forgive, forgive. Forgive, let live, and don't forget to love. Forgive, let live, and don't forget to love. Forgive, let live, and don't forget to love. Forgive, forgive, forgive.
Grayson, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
to share with you my take on forgiveness, which is different. Of course, probably there are many differences, but this one has gotten me in trouble a little bit. And to me, it's from a personal experience, from personal practice. And it's kind of like forgiveness through the back door instead of the front door. It's like forgiveness from a deeper, deeper, deeper place, maybe we can say higher, higher, higher place, rather than more surface or shallow. It's forgiveness from a place that truly is permanent. It's done. And it is not just temporary when you feel like you're high on life. And when you're sad and depressed, it comes back. And so my take is, don't forgive. Just don't forgive. Don't forgive. I don't mean to forgive temporarily. So don't forgive if you think you should forgive. Don't forgive because in spiritual circles, that's the thing to do. Don't forgive because somebody's telling you you should forgive, whether it's a spiritual teacher, a friend, or a family member, or they're asked. Don't forgive if you're not ready, if you haven't cried enough yet, if you haven't been angry enough yet. Don't forgive if a book is telling you that if you don't forgive, you're not going to be prosperous. I have a longer list. The whole idea is that we take our experience, no matter what it is, and we feel what it feels like, and we reflect on it, hopefully from a bird's eye view, from a more expanded way of seeing things, without judging, criticizing, making wrong right. Just see it. Just feel it. And then take it in very, very gently, very tenderly, as if it's a broken bird. A bird with broken wings, not a broken bird, a bird with broken wings. Right? You wouldn't say, heal, damn thing. No, you would say, come, I'll take care of you until your wing is healed and you can fly free again. And so this is the realm that I'm talking about. From a spiritual realm, from a bird's eye view, and this is a tough one to hear. I know that. There is no victim, there is no victimizer, and there's no crime when there's no heinous act. Tell that to somebody who's just been shot, or has just been raped, or has just been trafficked, right? It's a very high, challenging point of view, but for those of us who are on the spiritual path, we are here to assist those who aren't there yet by example, not through preaching. So it's Mark Twain that said, forgiveness is the fragrance. It doesn't say fragrance of dog poop, or fragrance of flowers, or fragrance of your neighbor's fart, or fragrance of your perfume. It says forgiveness is a fragrance. The violet sheds, violets only shed beautiful fragrance on the heel that crushed it. And so what I want to tell you first is, share with you first, is a little story that was in Science of Mind magazine this month. It's a little bit long, but it really has so many messages. And of course, we love stories. Picture a young lad going to school, already deeply spiritually aware, but socially awkward. Many of us here, right? Yes. He walked through the schoolyard to a beat of a different drummer. In elementary school, one of the bigger kids always made fun of him. In junior high, the same kid continued to harass him. By high school, he found a bit more appreciation for his intuitive sensitivity, though it made the bullying situation even more unpleasant. A couple of decades later, the tormented started finding his path to spirituality. He felt it was time to get with the spiritual program and find a spiritual campus to help deepen his process. He ventured into a spiritual school to get involved into some self-help programs. To his surprise, he found the spiritual leader of the community he liked was none other than the kid he had harassed in school all this time. To his amazement, he was greeted with open arms and a big hug by the master teacher. One day he thought he'd bring up the subject of how cruel he had been to the spiritual leader in his childhood days. But the teacher seemed not to recollect the behavior. Attempting to clarity, the former tormentor asked, "Don't you remember?" To which the sage replied, "I clearly remember forgetting it." To which they both broke out in laughter. True healing through a true, honest, deep forgiveness practice sets us free. So it's the soul version of forgiveness I am talking about, not the ego version of forgiveness. They're very different. The soul version is an act of love. It is a sacred act of love. It is saying there is no victim, there is no victimizer, there's no heinous act or crime. There is just an opportunity to heal, to learn, to grow, and to have a more expanded consciousness. And I know that's challenging. So ask yourself, are you willing to see it that way, to experience life that way? If you're willing, it will absolutely set you free. And the free flow of life, capital L, will move through you and take root in such a way that it will completely change your experience. I know. And so think about some of the things that have been done to you. And also the things you and I have done. I've done some things I'm not proud of. There are still days when I get into an argument, which is mostly just with my honey at home. I still have to practice asking for forgiveness, forgiving myself, forgiving him. And so we begin to realize that no one is really innocent. That no one is really innocent. Maybe I haven't killed a person, but just yesterday, I was so sick of taking the ants out of my bedroom that I killed a few of them. Do you think that makes a difference in the universe? It makes a difference to us. And so if we take out the person who did what they did, whether it's somebody else or you, and we allow ourselves to experience the experience with the willingness to see it in a different light, to keep our hearts open and to realize that we get to learn and grow and evolve. It changes everything. And so the wound becomes the place where the light gets in. Instead of using salt to re-wound ourselves over and over and over again, we get to use the healing salve of spiritual practice and love and acceptance and compassion so that the wound may heal and we may be free. But so is the other party, persons. And so it's about our awakening. What if the act was just there because the wound was already there? And it just allowed us to see and understand and experience ourselves in a different way. And it allowed us to open to the stream of divine love that is ever present. We make ourselves suffer. We make ourselves suffer. Whether it's through memories, through unforgiveness, through resentment, through judgment, through fear, through worry, we make ourselves suffer. No one does it for us. But we can also do the opposite and make ourselves free, because to the universal law, there's no difference. Just to us, there is a difference. So the sacred act then is to experience reconciliation in cultures where reconciliation has been practiced, where one tribe abused another. And I think we need that in this country, by the way, especially for Black and brown people, including Native peoples, right? When there is reconciliation, it's so powerful. I don't know if you've ever witnessed it, but I've witnessed it in jail situations. And because of my love for South Africa, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it here. So when we witness this idea of true reconciliation, there is a power that is unleashed, that is unstoppable, that is deeply powerful. And so, to not forgive then becomes no longer an option, because it creates bondage for ourselves and others, and it just spreads out, right? So there are all kinds of reasons why we should forgive, right? Why are we being asked to forgive? What are some of the reasons why we're being asked to forgive? Anybody?
To set yourself free.
To set yourself free. What else?
To have peace of mind.
To have peace of mind.
Move forward.
To move forward.
Because it causes illness.
Because it causes illness to the physical body. Oh yeah. Think cancer. That will make you forgive. What else?
Happiness.
To be happy. Yeah, I mean, anyone would not want that. Anyone doesn't want health or peace of mind or be free or be happy. And when we ask that to anyone, they'll say, well, who do you think I am? Of course I want that. That's the ego, right? And so it's Nelson Mandela who talked about evolution. Forgiveness is an evolution. I was in his prison cell when I went to South Africa. It was tiny. And the treatment that they had, working in the lime quarries was unbearable. But he forgave his guards, as well as everybody else involved for getting in there. He said resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Think about something that happened to you that's hard for you to forgive. Holding on to unforgiveness is something that's a poison that poisons you while you're hoping that it will poison the other person. That's how the ego mind works at a very surfacey level, right? A limited level. How interesting that Anne Lamott said, not forgiving is like drinking rat poison, waiting for the rat to die. She said something similar, right? There's only one mind. So the sacred act of forgiveness then is revolutionary because it's evolutionary. It's a revolutionary act. When we do something we think we can't. I had some abuse in my childhood by the principal of my elementary school. And I worked so hard on forgiving that bastard. It just didn't work. Because whenever I would get upset or angry, or I would watch that similar abuse on TV or heard it on the radio, it would all come back. Until I began to do the healing work that I needed to do and not really think about him, but what the experience gave me, what happens. And then I remember one morning waking up from a dream where I saw him and I felt nothing but love for him. And I walked up to him and I hugged him and I said, what happened to you? And I loved him for that when he shared with me what happened to him that made him do what he did. And so we all have that opportunity to do that sacred act and have that be our contribution to healing hate in the world. Who does not want to heal hate in the world? I don't want to heal hate in the world. Well, then great, then hold on to your grudges and be miserable. But if we want to heal hate in the world, which we all do, then we have to do the healing work inside and have that be a sacred act, because as long as we hold grudges and hatred and unforgiveness towards anyone, we are part of the problem. Just think what a drop underneath a stone can do. It can make a hole in the stone, right? And so the highest form of forgiveness is then to say, thank you. I know that's a lot to ask. In our mind and in our hearts, thank you. This heals me, this grows me, this evolves me, this allows me to see there's only one life, one people. This allows me to believe in the healing power of love. And so it starts here, doesn't it? It starts with us. Just think, how many times a day you are self-critical? Mine's about 50. I haven't counted, but plenty. Because Ernest Holmes says, the human tendency is towards the negative. Every time you and I are self-critical, we have our spirit saying, forgive. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. See your true self. See your whole self. So catching it and forgiving ourselves in that moment then is a sacred act. And remember that we're not alone. Whenever I teach my guys in prison and teach meditation, I might ask some questions and say, what do you struggle with? Because then I give them tools for meditation. And every time somebody shares, I say, anybody else relate? And I always put my hand up because we're all so much more alike than we're different. And so can we like see that and know that and be there for that? So my interpretation is a little different. It's about rising up high enough to realize that we have to change the interpretation that we had of what happened and see it in a different light, see it in a higher light, and realize that forgiveness, that kind of forgiveness, is a superpower because it sets us free. It is Alexander Pope, the English poet who lived from 1688 to 1744, who said, to err is human, to forgive is divine. To forgive is divine. So we have an opportunity now to experience a deeper sense of forgiveness as our beloved Janice takes us into a forgiveness practice.
Thank you, beloved teacher. So it's not going to come as a surprise to anybody here in this room that I have the same interpretation of forgiveness as Dr. Frankie does. It is what we practice in our teaching. And it is what we are all here to practice in the world. Mother Teresa has been quoted as saying, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. We forget that, right? So I think a beautiful bridge that fills that gap and allows us to reconnect to that idea that we are all one is forgiveness. I also see it as a practice, as a deep spiritual practice, and not just a polite thing to do, right? Not just the thing, as Dr. Frankie said, that we should do. And again, and I know you all understand this, forgiveness never means, I still need to say this for myself, forgiveness never means condoning or agreeing with a certain kind of behavior. Again, we're looking at it from a higher way, that it really is a gift we give to who? Ourselves, right? It's a gift we give to ourselves. Because when we judge others as being wrong, when we hold on to resentments, when we believe that others should be punished, our heart closes. It's our heart that closes, right? And what we're really doing is we're holding somebody else responsible for closing our heart. We are giving all of our power away. That somebody else did this when it's really us. And we are the ones that can open our hearts. And our ego mind can get really invested in keeping it closed, right? Until somebody else, apologizes or does penance or is contrite, right? Now, when we continue to judge ourselves as being wrong too, the critical thing, I'm at least up to 50 times a day, for sure. Then we hold on to guilt and shame for what we've done in the past, who we were when we did that in the past. Our heart closes, right? Right? Again. And even after we make amends, which I love amends, and I believe strongly in that, certainly for my life, sometimes we still keep our hearts closed because our ego mind is invested once again in that. So we're going to do a practice today to open our hearts, because when our hearts are closed, we cannot experience the love of God coming through us. This is the inner work because it's the love of God that we are opening our heart to move through us, and it's that love that does the forgiving and the forgiveness work. One of the best definitions that I've ever heard for forgiveness is it's forgiving love instead of hate, fear, revenge, right? It's forgiving love. And when we don't do that, as Reverend Frankie said, as you all said, we're the ones who suffer, right? So are we ready to do a practice? Okay. Because it's only love that sets us free, right? Only love that heals. So I love this month of February. We're still giving love. And we really are freeing up God's love to move through us. So part of this practice that we're going to do actually comes from the Jewish tradition. And there's a prayer that they use on Yom Kippur, which is their day of atonement and repentance, right? That's what Yom Kippur is. So part of the prayer that I'm going to weave into this comes from that tradition, and I think it's really, really powerful. So I'm going to invite you to get comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes so that your attention goes within, because we're turning to that love of God that is within us. And I invite you to take a deep breath and say, ah. Ah is actually the mantra of the heart. Every name for God has ah in it. Buddha, Allah, God. So breathe into any part of your body that feels constricted or constrained in any way. And let the love of God breathe your heart, and once again say, ah. So I invite you now to use your imagination to see in your mind's eye a bridge crossing over a body of water. And you can create the scene any way you wish. It could be something you've seen before or something that comes to you now. But just imagine that you are on one side of the bridge, which represents your life as it is right now. And feel into this moment. Is there any heaviness that you may be feeling? Is there any feelings of struggle or discomfort or pain? Are there belief systems that no longer serve the greatest idea of who you would like to be? Especially notice if there are any unforgiving thoughts. As you look across the bridge, you see on the other side of a bridge that there is a light shining. And it becomes brighter as you look at it. And you feel that it is inviting you to cross the bridge. So you begin to move in that direction and cross the bridge, headed for the light on the other side. It feels good. You begin to feel ready to let go and open to the love that the light represents. Are you fully ready and willing? Let's take a breath and stop in the middle of the bridge to be sure. Because you can already start to feel that with each step you are reminded that to truly live in the light on the other side, in true transcendence, this evolutionary idea of forgiveness and love, you must be free of blame, judgment, resentment, and unforgiving thoughts. Because these things will burden you. They can make you feel small and stuck and they close your heart, and we're ready for our hearts to open. For just a moment, in this imaginary scene in your mind, you look over the side of the bridge and you notice the water rushing under the bridge. You even notice that in some places there is debris, garbage even, clogging the flow. The same way our limited, unforgiving thoughts block the flow of love and light within us. But you see how free the water flows when there is nothing in the way. And the freedom is what we go for today. Freedom to love and be loved. Freedom to live your soul's purpose and your heart's desire. Freedom to feel the love of God wash over you and move through you. And you remember that you are the only one who can release yourself for this life of freedom where you live with your heart open. So if you're ready, it is time for giving love, and it is time to be set free. So I invite you to bring to mind and heart anyone that you feel that you may have harmed in your life. See them on the bridge with you. And feel anything that you need to feel. If there's any remnants of shame or guilt, allow yourself to feel, because you are also releasing these emotions that have kept your heart closed. And when you are ready, say silently to yourself, to all those that I have harmed, knowingly or unknowingly, I am sorry. Forgive me and set me free. And breathe. And now I invite you to call to mind and heart anyone that you feel may have harmed you. If you can, see them walking towards you as you stand on the bridge, and feel any emotions you need to feel in order to release them. Maybe anger or sadness, whatever is in your heart that is ready to be set free. And feel the light on the other side of the bridge come to surround you, and let that love enfold you. And when you are ready, say silently to yourself, to all those that I have harmed, that have harmed me, knowingly or unknowingly, I forgive you and set you free. And as you do, know that you are also setting yourself free. And breathe. And now call to mind all the ways that you may have harmed yourself. Once again, feel any emotions that may be there, shame, anger, guilt, sadness, whatever it is. Open your heart and let them go. Let them be washed away downstream. And when you are ready, say to yourself, for all I have done to harm myself, knowingly or unknowingly, I forgive myself and I set myself free. And breathe in and feel your heart say, ah. And in your mind's eye, see yourself crossing the bridge into the light. You may be dancing across the bridge now. You are so free. You may be flying to the other side. You are free because you have crossed over the bridge of forgiveness, and you are set free into the light, and you are the light. Feel that light. Feel that love. Feel your heart open and know that you have done good work here, and that you shall be released to walk in the light of love from this moment on. And so it is. Oh my goodness. So it is.
Maybe you're ready to rise.
Feel lighter, freer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hearts are open. Oh, thank you for doing that beautiful work with me. I can just feel it in the room. So beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to transition into talking about this program that I'm doing because I feel like we've all been transformed. Who wants to be transformed even more? Anybody? Yeah. So I was so blessed and honored last year to offer a program called Transformation 2021. So guess what it's called this year? And this is a program where I love teaching, and I love this teaching, and I love to work with people to bring forth inner transformation, which is the theme for the year, this month, doing all this inner work. And to me, to have an extended program where we get to really practice our spiritual truth and allow ourselves to have real growth takes some time. It's a work in progress for me every day. So I read a book a couple of years ago called Living Originally by Robert Brum. It is a unity minister and has a profound effect in my life over the years. And living originally is about living from the origin, living from source. And there are 10 spiritual practices that allow you to move closer and closer away from ego and closer to source. Okay? So this program that I developed is over 10 months because there are 10 practices. And the thing that I really love is bringing people together in spiritual community like we are now. So we meet once a month and we introduce one of the practices and then we get to practice it all month. And during the month that you practice, and I keep looking at Franny because she took it last year and she's here to endorse that. It's transformational. But I support throughout the whole month with emails and inspirations and meditations. And we have small groups, you have prayer partners and a prayer group, and you support each other. So coming together in community like that, one thing I love about it is the ego can't hide when you're in a group, right?
Yeah.
You're shining the light on it, and we come together in that light to support each other. And as Dr. Frankie said, when you say, is anybody else experiencing this? People would say that in class, and everybody was like, I have the same thing this month, this week, whatever. So it's 10 months, really supported the whole time. There's practices like radical self-awareness, deep self-acceptance, unlimited forgiveness, compassionate communication, universal benevolence, different practice every month. And it starts in March, on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. You could wear green. It's all done on Zoom. And it's the third Thursday of every month through December. So I am doing a free introductory session this Thursday, which is the February 24th. Everyone's welcome. It's on Zoom, so check it out. See if it's something that you want to do and participate in. If it's a substantial investment because you're investing in your spiritual transformation, but if there's any financial concerns, please speak to me because I'd love to make it available to as many people as possible. It's my work in the world, and I'm grateful to be offering it. And that's my spiel. So, speaking about investments, are you invested in this spiritual community?
Yes.
So what does that mean to you? It means you're here, right? What else does it mean to you? To be invested in the spiritual community.
I get my spiritual nourishment here.
Absolutely. And our spiritual nourishment, to me, I'm off the stage, is priceless, right? And yet, when we practice the law of circulation and we know where we are spiritually fed, and then we give our resources to continue to allow a community to spiritually feed us, we are practicing spiritual abundance. And I can guarantee that at every point of my life, even when I felt like, I don't know, do I have enough to give? When I gave more and stretched, I got more back. I have so many stories of that, and Reverend Frankie knows most of them because I've been doing this work for almost 25 years. when we are participating in that law, abundance comes to us, and then we put it back. As we, like, just like in the meditation, if there's any debris, if there's anything clogging it, we're clogging the flow, right? So let's let it flow. Let's give our abundance here where we are spiritually fed. And there's many ways to do this. I can't help it. I have to repeat what Dr. Frankie said, that we are virtual sluts. No, it's not right? So we can virtually give in so many ways. And not this one, but there's a thing over here about how we practice our sacred exchange. You can do it, you can text to give. Dr. Frankie's doing it right now. Text to give. That's amazing, right? There's no reason, like, I don't have a check with me, you got your phone. Everybody's got their phone. Text to give, you could give on our website. You can write a check. I still write checks. I love checks because I feel like I'm really doing something. And you can give. There's a basket over there, love offerings. And that's how we support our spiritual community, which is, to me, is about growing and thriving and doing this work in the world. So thank you for your abundance, consciousness, for your generosity, for being here today, and generously sharing your presence with all of us, your attention and your awareness. I think that's it, right? Okay, I'm going to close with a treatment. Please join me for this closing treatment. So as we stand in the spiritual truth today, we know that we are here for giving love. Our hearts are open, and Spirit is moving through us, dancing through us, living through us. And that life of God, that life that Grayson so beautifully spoke about, that life that we are free to live, that he sang about and Dr. Frankie spoke about and we all felt today, is the love of God in action. And we are here to be the vessels and the channels to allow that love to continue to flow out to the world. It is love that heals. It is love that brings light to any darkness. And so we are so grateful that we know this, we understand this, we allow this, and all we see for the rest of this day, when we look at anybody, any situation, any circumstance, is that in that moment, love is healing it. That love is allowing it to rest, providing solutions. Love is bringing freedom to those who feel any sense of suffering, and love is bridging the gaps of separations that we remember to we belong to one another, and we are joining this love. And so I release this word knowing it is already done, knowing that we are here as the living proof of love in the world. So grateful for this spiritual center that we get to come to and experience and this love in the world and become it in a greater way. So knowing that this word now spoken is done, please join me in saying, thank you, God, and so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
Grayson has to come too.
Yes.
Where's everybody taking it on the road?
On the road.
Grayson, we want Grayson to come too. Bring the music.
I'm there.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this is my second one for today. I'm calling it Wonderful Day, because every day is a wonderful day. And I think sometimes we forget that, myself included. But every day has endless possibility, as long as you recognize it and say thank you. Today is a wonderful day. Tomorrow is gonna be a wonderful day too. Today, tomorrow, the day after that, they're all beautiful days too. Just look up and say thank you. Just look up and say thank you for the love, thank you for the grace, thank you for the hugs, thank you for the space, thank you for the joy, thank you for the peace, thank you for the good in all I see, thank you for the love, thank you for the love. like another, but that doesn't mean that we don't have each other. When we laugh, sing, dance, cry, we're all in this together. When we love, praise, cheer, smile, happy as can be, all we've got to say is God is in me. All we've got to say is thank you for the love, thank you for the grace, thank you for the hugs, thank you for the space, thank you for the joy, thank you for the peace, thank you for the good in all I see. I'm thankful for the love, I'm thankful for the grace.